Hi, I'm Betty Dubois. Welcome to Sharkfest 2020. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce one of the long-term sponsors and supporters of Sharkfest, Endace. With me is Cary Wright, VP of Product at Endace. Cary, let's start by introducing yourself and Endace. Everyone would like to know your background in networking, and then tell them what Endace does and what makes Endace different.
Oh, thanks for that great intro, Betty, and it's always great to talk to you. We love working with Betty. She's awesome. Anyway, my name is Cary Wright. I work for Endace and I run products, VP of products. I've been involved in the networking and the packet, industry for probably nearly 30 years, working at HP, Agilent, Ixia, Endace, and building all sorts of different products around testing networks by injecting packets or capturing packets and analyzing them, or monitoring networks and passing the packets off to different tools. I've really have lived probably almost all angles of that. Been involved with the IETF and a little bit with Wireshark, not as much as I'd like, but definitely Endace has been a long-time supporter of Wireshark, and very happy to be here with Betty today and sponsoring this remote and virtual Wireshark this year. We'd all love to be there in person, but hey, you got to roll with the punches, and here we go. We'll make the most of this one. So who is Endace and what do we do? What makes us different? They're really good questions, and I'm sure most of you know of Endace. We've been involved in Wireshark for many years, and you've seen Stephen Donnelly talk, you've seen other people from Endace attend, and you've had some exposure. You've used a DAG card or an Endace probe before. But let me try and summarize what we do. Endace lives and breathes packets. That's what we do. We live and breathe packets. We do enterprise class packet capture. What does enterprise class mean? It means always on. It means high scale, high reliability, high throughput, and large depth of storage. It also means being able to fast search all of that data and bring it up and refine it before you actually drill down into looking at the packets. So being able to store and capture petabytes of traffic across your global network, and then making that available to anyone that needs it, that's what we do.
Thanks, Cary. You've used the term enterprise class packet capture. Tell them what you mean by that and what makes enterprise class packet capture different. Are there specific challenges that it presents?
Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned that term, Betty, enterprise class packet capture. It's a term that's near and dear to our hearts at Endace. We've been providing enterprise level packet capture capabilities to enterprises for the last 20 years. So we've learnt what those enterprise customers need and what's driving their desire to capture packets and solve problems. So I like to step back a little bit and try and describe these teams and what pressure they're under. So they're either trying to keep the network secure, they're trying to keep the network running, troubleshoot faults, keep the apps performing well, keep all of their user base happy. Those are pretty demanding, roles that those enterprise class IT teams have, and security teams have got to satisfy there. So it's really challenging for those teams. And when you think about it, they're thinly staffed. They may have thousands of users, tens of thousands, maybe even some cases millions of users on the network. You've got to keep them happy. When things go wrong, they've got to scramble and find out quickly what is the source of that issue and solve it, resolve it, get on with business very, very quickly. The only way to do that is to have a globally distributed capture fabric that's always on, running 24/7, capturing every packet that's traversing the network and recording weeks, at least a week, sometimes up to a month worth of network history, so that if there is ever a security issue or a network issue, those teams can roll back and find out exactly what happened before, during, and after that event. So think about the challenge of that. It's huge, right? So we've got tens of petabytes, or potentially more, of packet capture data captured at various points across the global network. That needs to be centrally searchable. The whole fabric needs to be centrally managed, and it needs to be an open platform, an open environment that's well integrated with the rest of their tool flow. So I think those are the key things that define enterprise level packet capture.
You talk a lot about the Endace platform being an open platform. Give us some specifics and what benefits they provide to the customers and end users, and particularly Wireshark users.
Yeah, so Betty, open platform for us means two things. Firstly, it means the ability to integrate with the whole workflow of the user's environment. So being an open API, an open platform that can integrate with your SIEM, with your SOAR, with your security tools, with your other analytics tools, giving you right-click access, one-click access to packets. Without having to learn a whole bunch of new UIs, that saves our users a lot of time. And it helps with the workflow. Workflow is important for our users to get their job done quickly and resolve issues very, very fast. So that's the first half. The second half is the ability to push analytics tools out onto the packet capture hardware appliances themselves. So the flexibility to deploy tools of choice onto the Endace hardware and run those as either real-time live analytics tools that are potentially, I'll give you an example, a security sensor running Zeek, or a commercial security IDS tool running on the Endace probe hardware, or a performance analytics tool giving us all sorts of metrics. Could be a NetFlow generator running on the hardware as well. Having the flexibility to run your tool of choice gives you a lot of freedoms. It makes your deployment much more agile. You don't have to push new hardware appliances out if you want to trial a new tool. And it allows you to monitor many more points in the network, because now the capture appliances are doubling as security sensors or network monitors or these type of tools. And being best in class, deploying best in class packet capture hardware with best in class, your choice of best in class security tool or analytics tool gives you a lot more capability and a lot more freedom of choice. So those two things are critical for open platform: integration with tools and freedom to deploy the analytics that you choose.
Thanks, Cary. I really liked your points about making a huge set of packet data available easily, and then letting the different tools tell you which packets to pull into Wireshark. 10 packets is always easier to analyze than a gazillion. The tools in the Endace doc can tell us which 10. As you said earlier, if you can make it easier for people to get to the packets, you're ultimately going to make it easier for us to do packet analysis. And that's the whole reason we're here at Sharkfest. I'd like to thank Cary for taking the time to introduce Endace and talk about what they do. Our sponsors are critical to making Sharkfest possible. So I encourage you to reach out to the Endace folks, say hi, and find out more about their solutions. Also, keep an eye out for Endace CTO, Dr. Stephen Donnelly, who's presenting a session on Thursday at 5:15 p.m. Pacific time. It's called "How Long is a Packet? And Does It Really Matter?" I can't wait.
It's been great talking to you, Betty, and I hope you have an awesome virtual Sharkfest.